I never had a family doctor or anything like that because this the stereotype thing. Me, I don't need a doctor. I'm
Yeah.
fine, I'm healthy and strong.
You find out now that you have kidney disease. What's your next steps at this
So
point?
because of all the other medical issue that I have, I couldn't go back to work. Aren't you scared of this blood? She says, no. Why? Because I'm gonna be a nurse and take care of my daddy. It's not from you. It's from our creator. He decide what we get and what we don't get.
Mm-hmm.
He came with two doctors. Says that these are Dr. So and Dr. So. 1 hour before the operation, he says, here and now. She says, here and now. We're doing it now. And that's when reality started to kick in, when I start to see all these people with kidney disease. People are there. Sick people were there. People on dialysis, they show me their fistula. What? Or, oh, they stick 2 needles in there and take out your blood. And do what with it?
Welcome to the Green Table Talk, where we will have open and honest discussion about transplant. I'm your host, Jennen Johnson.
Welcome to the Green Table Talk, where we have open and honest discussion about transplant. I am your host, Jennen Johnson. Today, we have Nezam on the show. Nezam has a wonderful story, a lot of ups and downs in the story. So let's try to, hold on, because we're going to get ready for a wild ride here. Nezam, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me on. It's an honor to be here to tell my story.
Yes. I heard your story and I said, there's no way we can just let this pass. We have to bring you on the show, hear it directly from you. So let's start off from the beginning. Tell me a little bit about yourself, what you do in your pastime, any type of hobbies or anything of the sort.
Well, about myself, my full name is Nezam Khan. Everybody call me Naz or Nizam. I came to Canada when I was 17 years old from the Caribbean, which is Guyana. I went to school over here and I spent about 3 years in school, yes. Then I had to find a job to take care of my brothers and sisters. The Guyanese thing, where older sibling always do the honor of doing that because a mom and dad is not there. Anyway, however, life goes on as normal as a schoolboy and then start working. Mom came over to Canada and she tried to help take care of us because life was tough.
Now tell me, you're experiencing organ failure. Now tell me, when did you find this out about your organ failure?
So organ failure didn't come until about 6 years after the party in business. And I was working in a machine shop. I become a machinist. We have a kid. He was very sick. 6 months old. He was discovered with cancer.
Wow.
So my wife then. So anyway, we went to City Hall. I married this girl, and we start life. She was going to school because she was little. She was 18 years old when she had our son, and there's no. She had to go back to school and have an education. And she was coming one day from school and an 18-wheeler truck hit her. So she was unconscious in one hospital. My son is in another. I used to work 16-hour shift to make ends meet because we were young. And those times was very hard. And from this very same workplace, one day I was getting a ride home and we were in an accident where the car got hit from the back. I was fine, but the police want me to go to the hospital to get checked out. And when I did, this is, Mr. Khan, what kind of high blood pressure medication you're using? I said, excuse me, high blood pressure medication, me at this age? I'm sorry. This is, well, you have very high blood pressure and this is not normal. So maybe it's my lifestyle, partying and all of that, drinking. Then says, no, this is something else. Anyway, however, I never had a family doctor or anything like that because the stereotype thing. Me, I don't need a doctor. I'm
Yeah.
fine, I'm healthy and strong. Anyway, um, so they sent me to a doctor. This doctor will look into your high blood pressure. So they did, and they couldn't find nothing. And then I went to three doctors, and then one of them sent me to another doctor by the name of Dr. Dixon. He says, I suspect you have kidney problems. So I says, what? What does that mean? So this means it's a major organ, but I'm not going to say anything. We don't know yet. We have to do. And he sent me to a doctor at Toronto General by the name of Dr. Cole.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Cole, he kept me in the hospital for a week. He did a biopsy and then sent me home and then confirmed that I have kidney disease. So that's how I find out I have kidney disease.
So basically, if you didn't get into this car accident, you wouldn't have found out about the kidney disease at all.
I would never know. I'll probably die with kidney disease, and
Not
because
even.
right, because we never go and get checked out, and that's
Mm-hmm.
one of the biggest thing we always tell ourselves. I am fine, nothing wrong
Yeah.
with me, but kidney
Yeah.
disease is a silent killer.
Mm-hmm. So this accident, in a sense, was just kind of like a blessing in disguise, then,
It
right?
was the greatest blessing in disguise because
Mm-hmm.
I'm here today because of that accident.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So you find out now that you have kidney disease. What's your next steps at this
So
point? First, let me ask you, before we go on to the next steps, let me ask you, what was your reaction? Were you in shock? Did you automatically kind of blank out? Like, what happened at that point?
I didn't take it seriously because I didn't understand what kidney disease is.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have computers in those days, hadn't created as yet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we can go to Google and Professor Google and ask him, Professor Google, what is kidney disease?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
in a library, I don't have the time
Mm-hmm.
to that. So I leave it alone. I said, oh, don't worry, it'll fix itself. Anyway, Dr. Cole started to see me and then they give me some medication and life was going on as normal as usual.
So would you say you're in a bit of denial at this point? Didn't think it's not
Big,
going to really get worse?
I was in the biggest of denial, yes.
Yeah.
Because I don't think, because the way how I live and what I do, I eat well, you know, I wasn't with God at that time. Like, the
Mm-hmm.
free, and that's what I was doing. You
Wow.
see,
Okay.
yeah. So that was my reaction. I told my wife, and she, at that time, she couldn't talk to me. I was boss of the house, so she couldn't advise me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She advised me, it's not that I abuse my wife or anything like that.
Yeah.
I was like, look, don't tell me about this. I know my body, da da da,
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Yes.
And that's how it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I
So
didn't
when
take.
did it? Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I didn't take it on. Life could continue for a couple of years, yeah. And until things start to change.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was going to ask you. So when did reality start to kick in and you realize, wait a second, there's something more serious at play here? When did that happen?
So Dr. Cole at Toronto General Hospital had just came over from St. Michael Hospital and start working for Toronto General. Dr. Cole he's a professor and he teach in the university. So I happen to end up with one of the best doctor there is. So he keep treating me and diagnosing me. He starts sending me to different classes.
Mm-hmm.
I meet different people who's on dialysis. I happen to meet you remember this movie RoboCop?
Yes. Yes.
So the stunt guy who did RoboCop for his legs to be shot off was
Mm.
doing that. He had transplant and he was in the class as a guest speaker to teach and he showed us, he take out his leg. He said, this is the leg they use for RoboCop. I said, what do you
Wow.
mean? He says, I was a stunt guy. And then I says, wow, so wait a minute. And then I sit with him and I started asking questions. And that's when reality started to kick in, when I start to see all these people with kidney disease.
Mm-hmm.
People
Mm-hmm.
are there, sick people were there. People on dialysis, they show me their fistula. What?
Mm.
Or, oh, they stick two needle in there and take out your blood and do what with it? And then they click it. Well, why you have to do that? Oh,
It could be
because
a shock. It could definitely be a shock when you're seeing this for the first time.
yes, and it started to happen. And then they show us videos, and because Dr. Cole realized that I didn't understand what was happening to me. That's why he
Mhm.
made me go and do these things. And when I see people how after dialysis how they were, then I decide, hey, wait a minute, I got to do something about this.
Mhm.
So what did I do? I started to go horribly. Call
Mm.
back home. Hey, you know what? I got this kidney problem. What do I? So one person said, "Oh, it's easy. You know the 5 leaf thyme. Okay, get the root and you boil it and you drink it. That'll fix everything." And you keep trying this and trying that,
Yes.
but nothing would help.
I did the exact same thing when I was going through. I heard everybody's just telling me all this different stuff, do this and fast and cleanse and drink a whole bunch of water. And in the beginning, I was like, okay, easy enough, because I was in denial as well. Right. And then after a while, I realized, no, this isn't going to work. It needs more serious, attention other than drinking hot water every day or something. Right.
Then it's too late.
Yes. Yep.
Maybe the carbs would have probably helped from the
Mhm.
beginning,
Yes.
but then it's too late because we never go and find out.
Hmm.
Let's go get physical checkup when we're supposed to because we're
Mm.
fine. Just a
Yes.
little, yeah.
Wow.
So
So,
life continue
mhm.
anyway. So I diagnosed with kidney disease. Then a little while after that, I went fishing. I go in the night in April when the lake just started to thaw out.
Mhm.
I take my wife and my son, we were little, and we go 2 o'clock in the morning, Lake Simcoe. We will
Mhm.
drive there, we'll take our car batteries and we have our net and we're gonna set up and we catching smelt. One morning there was a trainee doctor there and I says, man, I'm feeling pain in my shoulder. I think it's from the fish I was bringing up. And he says, brother, are you sure it's fish? I said, I do believe so. So where is the pain? And I told him. So he stand there and he take his fist and he do a few things on my hand. He said, does the pain meet to your arm? I said, yeah. He says, I advise you for you to go to the emergency. I says, why? He said, this pain is not normal. Go to the emergency.
Hmm.
I go and they checked out. I have angina pain, heart coming in now. My
Wow.
was having problems. So then right at Toronto General, Dr. Cole, he assigned me to a cardiologist.
Mhm.
He was a very old woman. Her name is Dr. Lanky. She was an amazing woman. Anyway, she started to treat me and she assigned me to, she said, to my most brightest student will take care of you. He was a young doctor from India that came to Canada, and his name is Dr. Gupta, Dr.
Mhm.
Milan Gupta. Anyway, so he started to treat me. At the same time, I was taking medication for the kidney, and now I started heart medication now for angina pain. I had nitroglycerin. If it get worse, I would spray it under my tongue.
Mhm.
So eventually, I'll be eating, and after finish eating, the pain will come on even more. I happen to had an appointment to see Dr. Gupta, and he says, "How long this start?" I said, "6 months." And he said, "Now you're telling me?" He says, "Well, no, it's my appointment." So I come. He said, "You were supposed to call if there is any changes."
Mhm.
He made a few phone calls, and then 3 weeks after that, I was on the operation table. I had,
Operating table.
yeah, I had quadruple bypass surgery.
Whoa, hold on a second. So it started off with a slight pain in the shoulder area,
Yes,
which you thought was aggravated or brought on by lifting fish,
by fishing. Yeah,
and ended up being like a sign of something greater, which ended up you having triple bypass.
quadruple.
Quadruple, my apologies, quadruple heart bypass surgery.
A quadruple bypass. I had major blockage. I did went in for triple bypass, but the
Mm-hmm.
doctor that did the surgery. It happened also at Toronto General seems to be one of my most favorite hospital. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it is a resort center, and I'm lucky to be there. Anyway, the doctor after the surgery, he told me I did 3 bypass, but I decided to turn the heart over. And when I turned the heart over, there was a major blockage that would have given you a major heart attack. So then,
So if you didn't lift this fish, you wouldn't have known about the heart issue.
Nope.
Just like if you didn't have the accident, you wouldn't have known. Wow.
You see what's happening here, right?
There's a lot of signs coming your way, Nazim.
The spiritual signs coming to me. So anyway, I did the surgery. My daughter was very little. Just a little sidetrack. I'm not gonna go too far away. That when I was doing the heart surgery, just before I do it, I give 2 pints of blood to do the surgery, which is my own blood they will use back during the surgery.
Mm-hmm.
My little girl then, she was 6 years old, and she was sitting there with me, Toronto Western, and just shaking her foot and eating her sandwich. And the nurse says, "Aren't you scared of this blood?" She says, "No, why? Because I'm gonna be a nurse and take care of my daddy."
Okay.
My daughter is a nurse, and she worked at Toronto Western and ICU.
This is crazy. Like, your daughter is now a nurse.
Yes. My son also, he's a nurse. He is a wound care specialist at Brampton Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they both went.
Seeing this, like your daughter seeing this going, seeing her father go through this, it stirred something up in her. And now she's just like, nope, that's it. This is what I'm at 6 years old.
Right. And when she graduated, I was there, and I hugged her and I kissed her. I congratulate her. And then I tell her about that story.
Mm-hmm. And then, does she remember? Does she remember saying that at 6?
She did remember. Yes.
That's a blessing, Nezam. That's a blessing.
Yes, it is. Anyway, and we continue from there. So I was going through now. I had heart surgery. I had the kidney issue. 2 years after that, no, 1 year after that, I got a new diagnosis: diabetes. So that was no sign or nothing. That's just from regular blood tests I was doing. Mm-hmm. And then they find that, and then I was using medication like pills. Mm-hmm. So life continued with those 3 illnesses that I have. Yeah. Things change as we get along. Families getting older and bigger. Mm-hmm. My wife took the children to the Middle East to study. We homeschool our kids anyway before they come anyway. Yeah. So anyway, 2002, and the story started there mainly. That's when I went to see Dr. Cole. He said, "Hey, Mr. Khan, got something to show you." So he says, "Here's my note, read it." So I read, and I see the date that he wrote on the page. And he said, "In 15 years, you will start dialysis." He says, "What is the date today?" So I told him. And he said, "What's the date then?" And I told him. He said, "How many years?" He says, 15 years. He said, "What did I write here?" He says, 15 years, I will start dialysis. That's why he's one of the greatest doctor I ever met in my life. Yes.
So your doctor predicted when you would start dialysis. You need to get the winning lotto numbers from him and get rich. Because
in this world, richness will not happen in this. You know my richness? It's my kidney.
That is true. 1,000,000% agree on that one. Yes. So at this point, he predicted you're going to start dialysis 15 years later. Here it is, 15 years later. You started dialysis at this point?
I started dialysis at 2002, September 11th. Most of the time, too, I miss my family. But they're for a reason, and I can't stop them from that. So when I started dialysis, they didn't know until about a year after somebody mentioned.
Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah.
What type of dialysis were you doing?
Pardon me?
What type of dialysis were you doing?
I was doing hemodialysis.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't like the peritoneal.
So you did try peritoneal?
Yeah, I never tried that, but hemodialysis worked very well for me.
Mm-hmm. Did you have any side effects with hemodialysis? Did you have any side effects? Like, did you feel tired or drained afterwards, or?
No, at that time I feel normal because I still had a lot of strength in my body. I was still young, uh,
Mm-hmm.
not like now. Another story about another doctor, my family doctor. When
Mm-hmm.
I went into the hospital, I was there in cardiology department. He came and he see me.
Mm-hmm.
He brought me underwear. He brought me money, and he bring me pajamas. I said, Doc, what you doing here? He says, well, I come to visit you because um, I know everybody is away. I said, but you don't have to. He said, who am I? I says, family doctor. He says, what the first word? Family.
Wow.
He said, anything you need, just call me and let me know.
That's
Uh,
nice. That's
and
nice.
I was well taken care of in the medical field. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
was for me. And yeah, so anyway, dialysis started. My family finally do find out after 5 years. They decided,
Mm-hmm.
and I did dialysis um for about 7.5 years.
Wow.
In
Now, within
19,
this time frame, while you're doing dialysis, just quick question: while you're doing dialysis, did the thought ever come to you of reaching out to anybody regarding getting like a living kidney as opposed to waiting for a deceased, or did the thought of a kidney transplant even come up at this point?
Mhm. I have many cousins
Mm-hmm.
that have one brother and many sisters. But all my dad, his brother children, we grew up together. They're five boys. And they say, hey man, don't worry, we'll give you a kidney. When the time comes, we'll give you a kidney.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, they live in the States and many people are around. And once you start dialysis, oh, how is it going? You get a kidney yet? You're not going to get one from them when they ask you if you got
Mm.
one.
Yeah.
And at that point, you don't bother ask anymore.
Mm-hmm.
If they're asking, they said to you that they will give you a kidney. And when the time comes, they're asking you if you
You
get
don't.
one.
Yeah.
Oh, you get one yet? Well, hopefully, God willing, one you will get one soon. Hang in there, buddy. We're all praying for
Mm.
you. That kind of a thing.
Do you think it
Now,
was out of fear that they didn't want to donate, or what do you think?
lack of education.
Yes.
That's one of the main thing with people that today in today's time. But now, education in this kind of a thing is getting better, where people are
Mm-hmm.
teaching now. But in back in those days, there was no form of education where people can
Mm-hmm.
get with it. If you tell them about it, they don't want to hear about it.
Or they just assume the worst, that if they give you their kidney, well, then
So,
they're going to die or
right,
something, you know?
or
Yeah.
they will go bad. Their kidney will go bad on all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Yes.
so so relatives are like that, and the only person that was willing to give and she matched was my sister, one of my
Mm.
sisters.
And she was a match.
Yeah, she's a match, perfect match.
Wow.
Look, all the tests and everything was going good, and she called me buddy. Now back home is a respect. We don't call each other by the older person. We don't call them by their full name.
Okay.
It's, for me, it's buddy Nizam. You
Mm-hmm.
can't, buddy, you're gonna get a slap. So
Mm.
don't by my full name.
Don't
If
even
not,
go there.
by my mom. And same
Mm-hmm.
back home, we can't call people by their full name. We say uncle this or uncle that, even if
Yeah.
it's a stranger, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so she says, buddy, don't worry. I think I'm gonna give you the kidney. And then one day she called me and she's crying and she's crying. What happened? I can't give you anymore. Why? I have a gene that I will get diabetes. And they says I need the kidney. I can't give it. Oh, and she
Oh.
cried. Anyway, I said, don't worry, sweetheart. That's
Mm.
okay. It's not from you. It's from our creator. He decide what we get and what we don't get.
Mm-hmm.
Poor thing. Anyway, she and her husband, they're there. The husband tried and he wasn't a match either. That's my brother.
Mm-hmm.
So he comforted her, and so much so that 2 weeks after that she was pregnant. So
Oh, wow.
he said, here is your kidney. He said, thank you. Yesterday I saw him. He's 17 years old, and he was his birthday. I went over to see him. Yes, that's my
Mm-hmm.
next. Yeah,
Wow. That's a blessing.
person who was right up there ready to give me a kid. My brother was not a match. My son
Mm-hmm.
couldn't give me because he had cancer in the past. My
Mm-hmm.
daughter gave me. She's a perfect match, but she had diabetes.
Yes.
So they're all out of the question. My wife, which is now my ex-wife, would not give me. She's hoping I die so she can get the house.
Oh,
That just that just a side thing. Don't worry with that.
we'll leave that alone. Leave that alone.
Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
just a little of the side thing. You're still here, so there you
yeah,
go.
a little bit humor in our conversation, right? But it's true. I heard when I had this transplant, she got worried. She said, "Oh my God, no, 20 more years."
Oh my goodness. Listen, what is to be will be, right?
And it's not from us who
Okay.
decide who live or who die,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So because every other day, because I mainly I work with the machines, my hands moving all the time. I do the manual work, so I
Mhm.
have sugar in my hands. So I cannot do much physical work. I can't lift any much of a weight except
Yeah.
not more than 25, 30 pounds. So I become disability.
Now, do you
So
know at this point what your kidney function was at this point?
it was 15%.
15. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Wow.
it was pretty much gone. Creatinine level after dialysis was down to about 600. Uh,
Mhm.
that was still high. That wasn't so
Mhm.
bad. Anyway, so when I go in the morning, it's about 800 a check, and um, after dialysis, it comes down to about six,
Okay.
sometime, right? So
Yeah.
it's not the greatest, but it keep us alive. Who's on dialysis?
Yes. Yeah.
We're hoping that something will happen and we'll get a kidney.
Hmm.
Anyway,
Now
during
that, sorry, go
yes,
ahead.
so life continue in that's kind of a setting where I'm at home most of the time. I do yard work. I do little things at home. I go
Mhm.
for that 3 times a day, 3 times a week,
Yeah.
4 hours each session.
Now, were
Uh,
you on a transplant list, like a deceased
yeah.
transplant list at this point? Okay.
So they put you in it from the time you start dialysis. They do all the workup and get you ready for transplant, and you're waiting
Hmm.
on either dead donor or live donor.
Hmm.
Most of the time, nothing. In those times, they never used to take any kidney beyond 65 or 60. Now
Okay.
we are taking all the way up. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
exactly.
Kidney now with people with diabetes. In the past we never do. We take
Hmm. Hmm.
people with high blood pressure. So
Yes.
what I'm trying to say to the people out there who's going to be watching this,
Hmm.
no excuse for not signing your card now,
Very
and
true.
give us a chance. Not
Hmm.
that we're taking from you, but when you die, you don't need it. We need it.
You don't do anything with it when you're gone, right? And
And
now
yeah,
they can find ways around someone who had diabetes or high blood pressure. So it's no longer, that's it, cut off anymore.
technology has advanced so far now that we can use this. In the past we couldn't do it because we're
Yes.
still learning, and even now
Yes.
the faculties are still learning, and they
Exactly.
get each time.
Yes.
Yep.
Tell me more about the kidney transplant. Like, what was the process for the kidney transplant? I know, like I said, I know the story, and I'm just kind of itching for you to tell the story because I know what happened there. So
Yes.
tell me about the kidney transplant.
So I'm on dialysis. I do in the morning. I was at Brampton Civic Hospital. That's where I do dialysis because I'm living in Brampton.
Hmm.
Living then I'm temporarily living in North York now. So one morning, all the nurses, and we were all fine and all of that. Anyway, so there's one nurse, never forget him. His name is Kaiser. He's from the Philippines. He came to me around 10 o'clock. Mr. Khan, you finished dialysis. I says, what? Are you crazy? You can't cut my dialysis, buddy. I said, look, I still got an hour more. He said, no, you're done. You're done. Don't worry, you're finished. But he's not telling me what's going on. And it was a
Hmm.
Friday. It was a Friday morning. So the nurses, they all come around me and they're trying to hurry, taking me off. Oh, Curry, you gotta go. What's wrong with you people? Look at the time. I still have another hour more of dialysis. You can't
Yep.
cut me. Up. Where is Dr. Reen? I'm gonna talk to Dr. Reen about it. Mr.
Hmm.
You're finished. Dialysis. There is no more dialysis. What do you mean? You got a donor, buddy. I say, excuse me? And right there, I started to cry for
Yes.
for joy,
I
for
love
joy.
that part of the story. That,
Oh
yeah,
my God.
love that part.
it is the most sweetest moment in my life because I feel
Mhm.
like that life again.
Yes.
There was life. And so anyway, this is your wife is downstairs waiting for you. Hurry up and go. Um, they my wife and I, we go home, we get dressed. Um, the kids, they came with us. So whilst we were driving downtown in the middle of 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday,
Mhm.
so in general, they are with me. The admission department is with me on the phone. Okay, where are you now? Okay, I'm here every 5 minutes. Okay, where are you now? Okay, you're almost there. You gotta hurry here. The kidney's here, it's gonna be here soon.
Hurry up, hurry up.
Yeah, okay, take a left there. You'll get away from the traffic there. And they were you know taking me all the way in. They never come off the phone, and
Yes.
because they're all rooting for me
Mhm.
with the kidney transplant. Anyway, I went in, I got admitted. They took me upstairs, they set me up, and so remember I told you my wife and I we separated. So
Mhm.
we are religiously separated, so which means we're
Mhm.
not religiously. Legally we're still married. So I did ask her back. I says, if you are free, we can get married back again because of the kids and all of that. Anyway, the doctor came. I'm lying there on the stretcher naked. Just threw a blanket over me. Another doctor came. He uses marker. Okay, this is where I'm gonna make my mark to put the kidney in. Okay, no problem. It's not here yet. It's on its way. The kidney's on its way. My son came to me, Dad. He came with two doctors. They're both from the Middle East. They were there training, and my wife wasn't there. She was away. He says that these are Dr. So and Dr. So, and they're gonna be a witness. Mom says yes, she's gonna marry you. I say, excuse me, 1 hour before the operation. He says, here and now. She says, here and now. We're doing it now. So because he went and he studied, he um he did a marriage ceremony. The two doctors were there, they did the stuff. But she was
Right there
there
in the hospital.
right
Right there.
there in 1 hour before the operation began. When the
Wow.
operation finished, these two doctors came to me, Mr. Khan, what was that all about? I said, oh, my wife and I, we separated, Muslim divorce, and she married somebody else, and now she come back to get married again. Okay,
Mhm.
that's all we want to know. We want to know what we witnessed.
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
a simple marriage. No big
yeah,
deal. That's all.
because they're Muslim too, so they understand what was going
Yes.
on. Anyway, so when the hour was up, suddenly two men walk in with the nurses. There goes your kidney. I say, excuse me.
Mm.
Oh, your kidney is going there. So we're going in soon. Yeah. And I am not afraid of anything. I was so excited for this operation.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
excited. Anyway, I went in, I lie there, all naked. So all the nurses said, dear Mrs. Here, listen, this room is very cold. They say, yeah, we gotta keep it cold for the machine because in the operation Mrs. No, it's cold. So she says, yeah, we know. Mrs. No, it's cold. So I look down like that. She says, you think you're the first person coming here naked? So that's what I'm telling them. It's cold.
Yeah.
And she said, forget about that. Raise your head. Look. When they looked, the doctors were holding the kidney up like that. I saw it before they put it in. And
Damn.
the doctor turned to the nurse, I'm ready. And she says, you ready? I said, I am ready.
You were ready a long time ago.
Oh, yes. And then
Mhm.
I start to recite something from our book. And before I finished, started the line, I was out cold. Yeah. And that was my first transplant. I learned afterward it came from a dead donor.
Mhm.
It lasted for 8 years.
Mm.
Just before the kidney transplant, they had to go back in and they put in four stent in me to save the bypass that I had because it
Okay.
started back a back. So I
Mhm.
think it says I was one of the first patients who have the medicated stent, and so far
Gotcha.
no problem with it. And 1 year just before that also too, I had to remove my parathyroid. So
Mm.
as we go along, I'm becoming RoboCop. Um, I'm slowly rebuilding. I'm also a mechanic, so I'm rebuilding the engine slowly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's our first transplant, and a lot of medication, lifestyle change, not much. I do
Mm-hmm.
everything the same
Mm-hmm.
except moderation.
Okay. Now
You
you said
can
that was the first
you can eat whatever you want to eat, but in moderation.
moderation.
Don't
Yes.
overdo it because
That,
then you're gonna get in trouble.
mm-hmm.
Because of all the other medical issue that I have, I couldn't go back to work.
Okay.
Uh, so that was it
Now
for the
at this
yes.
point, your heart's fine, diabetes or high blood pressure, I mean, is that under control? Everything's great. Your kidneys working well.
Yes, because we stopped using horrible stuff and we're using medical stuff,
Okay.
right?
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now you said that was your first transplant. Tell me
Right.
about your second transplant. How did
Second,
that come about?
so second transplant, so I was off dialysis for on dialysis for 3 years. Now things started out nice, but then slowly I started to deteriorate because I am getting older. I'm
Mm,
now 59 years old. At that time, I was 56, I think. Yeah.
mhm.
So your body's not the same anymore.
Yes.
Um, you had all this medication in you. You had this new kidney in you, and anyway, so it started to go slowly. I had two episode of calcium overdose, so
Mm,
not properly monitor. Because of my parathyroid remove, calcium, magnesium, and potassium have to go in manually.
mhm.
No parathyroid to control it. And
Yes.
I think was negligent upon the doctors who was taking care of me at that time. They didn't keep track, and the Dr. Chef, who is the transplant doctor at Toronto General, was very upset about Dr.
Mhm.
all of this. And when he see me every 6 months or once a year, then he realized what's going on. I went in twice. I fainted, and
Wow.
3 weeks in the hospital each time.
Mm,
They slowly have to bring things back to normal again. Uh,
mhm.
the first transplant didn't got rejected, got damaged.
Oh,
Fibers in it got damaged, so it wasn't doing the job anymore. So
wow.
slowly, the creatinine started to go back, and
Mhm.
I did dialysis. Now, I didn't have to get a new fistula. The same fistula, I care it like a baby more than my ex-wife, and I still use it today. Uh,
Okay. Okay.
that was my lifeline, and I know
Mhm.
that I take it out. I says, no, I'm not gonna take it out.
Yeah.
I don't want nobody to go and stick my legs next for do dialysis and all of that because I said no, 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 no. I'll keep it in anyway.
And that's
So
so how long did you said that, well, you had this surgery.
yeah,
And so how long did you have the fistula at that point before you got to use it again?
the fistula, it was in there since um, let me see, almost 20 years.
20 years.
Yep, yep.
And then you went back using it again. Like,
And you can again, and it's still there as normal as except for this time. Yes. Anyway,
that's
so
amazing.
I started dialysis back again. The doctors were looking at me and they says, okay, it's time to start dialysis. Creatinine was up by 700, almost 800.
Mm,
Started it, and as days goes on and time goes on, I start to get weaker and weaker. Uh,
mhm.
dialysis was killing me slowly, and I start to give up.
Yeah.
Uh, my legs, when I finish, I can't walk anymore. I can
Wow.
barely make it. And the reason why, because dialysis, for the second time when I was doing it, cleaning was at 700, so the toxin was still in my body there.
Mm,
I didn't tell my family anything. I
mhm.
was doing this myself. So
Why did you share that with your family?
I didn't want them to know anything was happening. My
Okay.
daughter, especially, she's too much attached to me.
Mm,
The other day, she asked me, when I was doing the second transplant, are you gonna go full core or DNR? I said, DNR. So she started crying. Why are you doing this
don't
to me?
do that to her. Don't do that to her.
This? And for 1 week, she was all stressed
Mm,
because I have too much going on in life right now. And I says, whatever happened, let it happen naturally by God.
Yes.
I had a girl beside me from India, very young girl, 35 years old. She got a kidney damage in India by wrong medication.
Wow.
Sometimes it's not just that we don't take care of ourselves. For instance, I didn't tell you, after the biopsy that Dr. Cole did, he found out that I got kidney disease when I was 3 years old.
Oh, wow.
3 years. And the symptom was just the cold. In Guyana, in the Caribbean, you only sneeze, they wipe your nose, go in the backyard, and they pick
Yeah.
some book, red violet, and they said, drink that, you're gonna feel good. That was the symptoms. So,
Yeah.
anyway, so poor thing, anyway, we become very close friends, like brothers and sisters, anything she confided in me and all of that. And she's still on dialysis. She called me every so often. She was my confident kind of a thing. I tell her what's happening to me, and I says,
Yeah.
I don't think I can make it anymore. I think I
Mm.
can. She says, no, no, Baya mean brother, no brother, you will be doing okay. And then the same thing, I was on the machine again, and this was about 9 o'clock in the morning. I was taking a nap. If my cell phone rang, Mr. Khan, yes, it's Toronto General Hospital. Okay, do I have an appointment? No, sir. We got a kidney for you. It's a living donor. Okay, wait, just now. So because you got what for me? We we got a kidney for you. It's a living donor. I says, oh my God. She said, you're gonna have to come down to Toronto General in 2 days' time to do some blood work, and we got to make sure it match. So anyway, I went and I see two or three different doctors, and they interview me and telling me, and says, well, how do I come about getting this? This is a unanimous donor. It happened by cross matching.
Okay. Gotcha.
What do you mean cross matching? So I know what the cross matching. So how did I fall in this cross matching? Because I don't have anybody to give. This from this cross matching, over 1,000 people got it. At the bottom, this person have to give and have nobody else to give. So your name come up, and guess what? You win the lottery. This is 3 times it ever happened.
Again, you've won the
So
lottery again.
they actually said to me, you won the lottery. It's a kidney lottery, and your name come up. And you are perfect match for it. They did all the tests. Anyway, so in 6 weeks, I supposed to get the transplant. They cancel it. They says something wrong with the donor. We have to cancel. I said, oh God, please let him be okay. I don't want to this person. If it means he have to keep his kidney, let him keep it.
Yes.
So anyway, 3 weeks after he was fine, I said, oh, maybe COVID, whatever it is. So they're ready to go again. And this time nobody was there lining up to get married to me, but had my transplant.
But it's okay because you still got the greatest gift, which
Yes,
is this kidney, right?
yes, that's right. So that was my second one. And
And when did this one take place? When was the second transplant?
this was on October 8th of
Okay.
last year. Yes.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
a little over 3 months ago. Yes. So there's still a little bit issue here and there that they're still figuring out. I have to do a biopsy on Monday. I have to go in the hospital for a biopsy because they find the creatinine is going up a little bit, which is not normal. So my doctor, he says, Dr. Mucci, his name is. I was just trying to remember his name. Dr.
Very
Mucci.
good doctor.
Yes. Oh God. And I'll tell you how I met him. Not in the hospital. Anyway, so he said he wanted to do a biopsy to see what this kidney is doing because he don't understand. I met Mucci at one of the mosques I go to, and how I met him there is this organization that go and talk to people at mosque and church and all of that. And they call me and ask me, would you like to be our guest speaker? So I say, yeah, sure. And there I was talking, and Dr. Mucci was there, and I didn't make anything of him then. And I thought he was just one of those regular research people and all of that. Anyway, after the thing finished, he left. And then there was a second one, and we went, and there was only, a few people, a handful of people came to that meeting, and then that's when the time we get to talk.
Mhm.
Dr. Mucci and we stand up and we're asking people to donate and all of that. And one of the things that I always come up when I'm going to talk to people in a crowd like this, you hear things like, I want to go back to God the way I was created. Oh, really? Yeah, you want to go back. So you think that he created you one time like that, he can't do it again, eh?
Yes.
Okay. But I just want to let you know, all his creation put together is just like a finger ring you put in the Sahara Desert.
Mhm.
That is his creation, and he can do it
Mhm.
anywhere, anyhow. If he wants you with no kidney or no eyes, when you go to him, he will create you back that way.
Yep.
It doesn't
Yep.
mean that you give. I says, tell me something. I got two of my finger missing. I'll go back that way. So
Mm.
little kids in war zone who have no legs, who have no
Mhm.
arms,
Yep.
think about it that way. And one time I remember Dr. Mucci told me they had over 100 people went and they signed up.
Wow.
Yeah,
See,
yeah,
all it takes is someone to just educate. It just
yes.
takes someone to take the time to educate.
For education, yes.
Hmm. And then you also have to realize that God makes us in such a way that we can actually share these things, right?
But
People don't remember that.
now we know.
Hmm.
Um, two kidney, we only need one.
Yes.
We got two
Yep.
eyes, we need one.
Hmm.
Each thing there are tools that we can,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
and can still survive normally with it.
Exactly. Right. People have to remember that.
Yeah, and it's helping your fellow brother in humanity.
Yes. Yes.
Because in the end, as we believe, we all come from one man, one woman,
That's right. That's
and
right.
we all pick up with the same genetic.
Hmm. So
And
tell me now, you've had your transplant.
Mhm.
How do you feel?
Like $1 million.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I'm feeling excellent, excellent. I think this is my year of shining.
Hmm.
Uh, life would be better. There's a lot of changes already in my life.
Hmm.
I got 4 beautiful grandchildren.
Beautiful.
God, and I'm living for them.
Hmm.
For them, they're sweethearts. They are sweethearts, believe me. And if there's anything this kidney is doing for me, is give me extra 20 more years to spend
Yes,
with my progeny, with my grandchildren.
that's
Yes.
right. And within that time frame, technology and medicine is always changing. So I truly believe within this time frame, things are going to evolve.
Yes.
And where we are right now, because I had a kidney transplant as well, where we are right now,
Mhm.
we're going to be able to utilize this new medical breakthrough and help us live even longer, right?
Yes.
So
And
that's what I truly believe.
they're doing great things with stem cell research too.
Yes, very
And
true.
for all you know, one day it'll just give us a needle to cure kidney disease.
And that's it,
And
right?
then,
Or
yeah,
a pill, just take a pill.
yes, that's all.
Mhm.
We pray and everything come from our creator, not from
Yes,
we're just the tool.
yes. And we have to be patient because it's not on our time, it's on God's time,
But
right?
we got to do our part.
Exactly, exactly.
Yes.
Nezam, my apologies
No
for saying your name wrong.
No.
It's been a pleasure speaking with you. I heard your story before and I'm hearing it again now. And I'm still hearing like little tidbits that I had never even heard the first time around.
Yes.
So I'm so happy you're on the show with us.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
You're my dear, and I love telling my story. There's so much more to tell, but you don't want to hear it. You don't have the time.
It's been an amazing story. And I just wish you all the best.
Thank
And
you.
I know everything's going to be perfectly fine. You're going to make it through. This is definitely your season, definitely your year. And I know nothing can keep you down at this point in time.
No, thank you so much. I'll be flying high soon. Yes.
Exactly.
I start
Now,
with- yes.
So at this point, I usually take the time to share a little nugget of wisdom, a little piece of information, or some type of phrase to just kind of encourage our guests. And today it is, I am worth all good things, which is literally your story right now. You are worth all good things. And we need to remember this, that we are worth all good things.
Yes.
So thank you once again for educating our guests.
Yes, thank you.
And I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, my dear. I'll keep you guys filling in.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
You
if
take
ever
care.
the second time again, I'll be available.
Yes, definitely.
All right.
Definitely.
Thank you so
All right. You
much.
take care.
Good
Bye-bye.
night. Bye now.